you.
Thank you. Excellent report. Next item on our agenda is recognition.
Tell you what, we have a program, marching band, co-curricular opportunities for our students that is just exemplary. It's a shining light in our district. And we are so proud of the accomplishments of our co-curricular activities, and certainly our instrumental music and marching band program. We're going to recognize tonight accomplishments of our marching band. I'm going to ask our board president, Laura Featherstone, to provide the students, we got 300 plus some certificates here that I'm going to ask our teachers to pass those out. We also have a plaque that we will present as well, and we've asked our instructors, Brian Phillips, as well as Evan. Where is Evan? He's here.
That's not a student.
There are a lot of positive things about Evan. I can tell you one thing, he was a drum major at Michigan State University for 3 years, and so Spartan as well. But we're here tonight to recognize our marching band students, and I've asked our principal, high school principal, Dan Zhang, to say a few words as well. Dan.
Thank you, Dr. Scheibler, Board of Education members and Central Office administrators, and our guests here this evening. Certainly, I've had opportunities to talk to Mr. Phillips and Mr. Boehm about the season. Certainly was a great season, a state championship at Ford Field, and then just a tremendous showing nationally at Lucas Oil in Indianapolis. But I do want to take just a moment and recognize our drum majors and our student leadership. I've been involved in high school organizations for 30 years now, and I can sense when you're around programs that have internal leadership beyond the instructors. You always get a sense when you're around organizations that this student body, this student organization is connected, and that connectiveness, again, I think it does start at the top with our instructors, and I don't want to take anything away from Mr. Phillips or Mr. Bain, but it was obvious that this group had tremendous student leadership. So I think it's very appropriate that our drum majors are here tonight. And beyond recognizing that, I'm there in June, July, and August before anybody else gets there. So I just want to thank the students, and I will pass this on to your classmates and your bandmates as well. I know how hard you work. I see you out there when it's 90 degrees with 100% humidity, and you guys are getting after it. You're finding any piece of shade outside and every nook and cranny inside. I just appreciate how hard you work. So again, just a tremendous student leadership. You're wonderful young men and women and tremendous leaders. So I didn't want to talk too much about music because I can't. But I will turn it over to Mr. Phillips and Mr. Bain.
Actually, I want to turn things over to these guys and just let them, tell you what they've achieved here. Ready, set, go.
Well, I gotta say, I remember my mom asking me, why do you do marching band, Dwight? Like, why in the world would you go to the university for a week, do marching band for 12 hours with the same group of people, have Mr. Phillips as your band? No, I'm just kidding. But have practice for 3 hours for two days a night, and Saturdays on top of that? She was just, why? And I just thought about it for a little bit, and I told her, where else would you go where you can get almost 300 kids together doing the same thing for the same goal, and just push them, give them constructive criticism, push them mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally, and all of that. And they all, at the end of the day, they're all on the same team, the same family, working together for the same thing. There's no other team, no other organization you'd see other than the marching band to that capacity to create such an amazing show. I know, we are in the show, so we don't get to see it, but watching, wow, that is what we made. The directors, our instructors have pushed us and wanted us to do our best, and ourselves, we finally found we ourselves pushed for that too at the end of the day. So it's just pretty amazing. How can I miss on an opportunity to be a part of such a great organization? It's almost I feel, honored to be part of, you know, the Rockford High School Marching Band. I can hang my hat on that and be really proud of what my friends have done, my peers have done, and I just can't imagine what I'd be without, like, oh no, the marching band season's over, what am I gonna do, you know? So just, it's given me so much that I can never, you know, repay other than giving it to the next generation, and hopefully they will take the same things out of it as I did. So, you know, Mom, that's why I do marching band. You know? That's the reason why. But it's just, the experiences is just kind of beyond words to a point. So it's really awesome.
Just to introduce these guys a little bit, we've got Dwight and Britney, our senior drum majors. And a credit to them, we're going to keep this between us, really have transformed leadership in our program. They went off to drum major camp, not this past, well, both this past summer, but the previous summer, and they came back, and they were already excellent students, excellent kids, and they came back just fired up and really helped change the leadership program, as Mr. Zhang was acknowledging in the program. They really have done a lot for changing those things. Brandon is a junior drum major, did a great job with us this year for just, it was his first year as drum major. And Hannah's a sophomore drum major. We haven't had a sophomore drum major in many moons. So these guys have done an awesome job. They are there out on the field setting stuff up before the band begins rehearsal. They're coming in 20, 30 minutes, sometimes after, helping students out. Just lugging stuff around, and that's why we wanted these four to be here tonight with us to acknowledge the board and to give that report. They've done a fantastic job, as have all the students. I mean, to kind of state championships, and that's unbelievable. And Dr. Shaver, we were talking about this a little while ago. I mean, just years ago, you know, and Dr. Kelly as well. Just, you know, I remember saying foolishly, "It's just not going to happen. Don't worry about that. Or it's a different league. It's different. Don't." You know, and then, whoops, 2 years in a row, whoops. And to just kind of put things in perspective, this weekend, I think the students kind of get it, especially the older ones. The younger ones don't have a clue. This weekend accomplishments overshadow any number of state championships. It's hanging with these bands that we have, for lack of a better term, idolized for so many years, and now you're playing next to them and being scored right there with them and being compared to them and saying, hey, you sound kind of like these guys. And I'm still in a little bit of denial, professional and personal. I just know there's got to be a mistake somewhere. That doesn't make any sense. But these guys have just worked their tails off, and they are on an uphill climb. It's insane watching these guys work and want to improve the hunger within the program. So we're very fortunate to have the support of our administration, of our community, of our parents. It's incredible. I'm done talking now.
Thank you. Thank you. Get a picture with that. And I'll go get your certificate. And I really did want to hand them out to all the students. And I invited Bus 4 to come this evening. I'm really sad that they're not here, so take that back to them and tell them that I really wanted Bus 4. But they all may be sick with my cold, too. I have two things to say, because I was a chaperone at that trip. And Lisa Krieger even told me, because I don't cry, usually during events. And I'm part of the band, just so you know. I hauled scaffolding and the ladder out on the field to make sure that Britney wouldn't fall. So I was on Lucas Oil Stadium, and I sat in the audience when they did that semi-final performance, and I literally was bawling my eyes out. And even the other mom's like, this is not Laura, she doesn't do this. Because it was the most amazing performance I've ever seen in my time as a board member here and a parent, a band parent. So I just want to applaud you from my heart. And I'm going to join the road crew next year, just so you know. Because I can't be a band chaperone anymore. But that's my piece to say.
So Brian, somebody needs to say out loud what you accomplished this weekend, because I haven't heard a number yet.
Well, we placed 14th in semifinals.
There we go.
Historically, it was 2012. We placed 19th. We haven't been back to semifinals since. It's quite difficult to make it into semifinals. We prepped the kids knowing that we had this incredible show, and it wasn't a bluff at all. It was sincere. You know how worried I was about making semifinals. It really is. We showed up on Thursday not knowing if we'd be playing Saturday, and it really was a big mystery. I mean, no discredit to these guys, they're amazing, but you should see these programs that are down there. So they did make semifinals, and they were 10th in our block. In our judging panel, I'll spare you the details because it's quite confusing. 10th in our judging panel on Thursday, and you combine the two, and that averaged us out at 20th, and we moved up in semifinals to 14th overall.
It's across the nation, right?
It is, and it's one of the things details that I pointed out to the students today, because I want to be accurate. It's nice to put feathers in the caps and whatnot. We're not ranked 14th in the nation. We placed 14th at the national competition. There are a lot of bands out there that would smoke some of the bands that were in finals. Mostly from, well, actually all from Texas.
Yeah.
But a lot of Texas bands were not there this year. But still, I mean, again, no discredit. They had an amazing, amazing performance. Just less than 1 point, 0.85 out of finals, which is, I mean, if semifinals is our dream, finals is inconceivable.
Yeah.
And to be right there and playing with past national champions, and the Marian Catholic program, for example, that has been a 28 straight year finalist to place 15th. It is just pretty incredible.
How many bands were there?
108.
Wow.
108. Supposed to be 110, 2 cancellations.
Dr. Scheidler asked me what it would take. He said, what's the difference between us and the top 5? And I said, money. So I tried to get us a new semi, but Cuneo wasn't in the room.
Let me give you an example. This is our thing that we hang our hat on. We don't put this out there publicly, but I would assume all of semifinals, definitely top 20, if not 25. We're the only band that is a 2-night-a-week rehearsal band. Nobody would even attempt to do what we do with just that little bit. These are all extracurricular, either prior to school or after school. Every day, no sports. They can't have soccer players or swimming and diving or cross country or anything else that's going on. That's what they do. It's their extracurricular
It's the whole
thing.
school year, right?
They'll do other activities, indoor drumline, indoor winter guard, and whatnot, but it is an extracurricular completely with 3 hours a day, every day after school, which is kind of who we compete against a little bit in the state of Michigan as well. Carmel, for example, your national champion for the last 3 years straight, they do a music block in the morning for between an hour and a half and 2 hours, and marching rehearsal every day after school for 3 hours. So you're talking about us 3 hours twice a week and them 5 hours every day. Now we're nowhere near comparing ourselves to Carmel. They are way off in the distance. That's the top 5 that you're talking about. Broken Arrow, who's got a pool of about 400 students in the marching band, and they have an A band and a B band, and they swap people in and out left and right, and their rehearsal situation is very similar. Avon, who was second place, another very similar rehearsal situation. So we're proud of our multi-committed students that can be in both sports and band, and don't foresee changing that schedule to just try to up ourselves. So we're going to continue to try to get more efficient with what we've got and keep going there. But the money wouldn't hurt.
You know what I can support? I think it's really important that our students do participate in multiple co-curricular opportunities, because that makes for a very well-rounded people, and in adult life, it's going to make them successful, help them be successful.
Absolutely.
And you know what, students, those green signs coming into Rockford. Well, we're going to add number 2 next to the marching band for your 2nd straight state championship, along with other co-curriculars that are on those signs as well. And I can't tell you how proud we are of your accomplishments, because you, number 1 in the state, Flight 1, outstanding.
Dr. Scheidler, I'd just like to add, I think I forwarded you an email, or an actual letter that I received today And I think certainly accolades, feathers and caps, as Brian said, state championship road monikers, I mean, all those things are fantastic. But at the end of the day, when all is said and done, it comes down to what type of students we have and their character. And I received in the mail today a letter from I believe to be a senior citizen from Brighton, Michigan. After our state championship at Ford Field, I'm quite certain, Brian, we stopped in Brighton and the kids scattered.
Oh, yes.
And we had a number of kids that went to a Panera restaurant. And Panera had an employee, a couple of employees walked out on the job that night, so the food was delayed over an hour. And a senior citizen engaged in a conversation with several of our band students, and she took the time to write me a letter just saying how impressed she was with the students from Rockford High School, just how polite they were, how well-mannered they were, how well-spoken they were, and her faith in the youth of America, as she stated in her letter, was elevated to a much-needed level. And you know, again, these accolades are great, but boy, those are the type of letters I like to receive. And I know parents, you like to hear that about your children as well. So again, congratulations to not only your accomplishments, but congratulations to the people you are and the leadership you provide at Rockford High School. Thank you.
Let's go, Mike. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, the next item on our agenda is the recognition of visitors and hearing of the people present. Is there anyone here that would like to address the board tonight?